broadcast. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you guys again. I know you probably missed me because you haven't seen me in 2 minutes. I'm here with our first keynote speaker for tonight, and also my neighbors that found it fitting to hammer something on the wall right now. It's pandemic time, so this is a pandemic summit. And we're here with Raul Galera. He is the partner and manager at ReferralCandy, and I'm sure a lot of you guys that are e-commerce merchants in the audience use or have heard of ReferralCandy and CandyBar. And if you didn't heard about them, they are two tools that are helping small, medium e-commerce businesses running customer referrals in the tech sector and loyalty programs. And yeah, I mean, I'm super excited because we're going to talk about my favorite topic, which is customer retention. And it's with a bit of a twitch. So we're going to talk about increasing customer retention and acquisition after the holidays, because we cannot think in terms of growth only about the holidays. So I'm gonna make myself here small in the window, and I'm gonna let Raul take the mic. Welcome, Raul.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Cool. Yeah, if you guys can give me a thumbs up in the chat room to let me know that the screen's working and you guys can see my screen, that'll be great. But yeah, in the meantime, well, first of all, thanks to OmniConvert for the invitation. It's a pleasure for me to be here. So today I'm going to be talking about how to increase customer retention and acquisition after the holidays. So the kind of like the reason why I chose this topic is because when we talk about the holidays and also Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we typically think about. By the way, I think my screen just went small. Can you guys still see it, or?
Good, I did it, so they see you first.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
For tonight, I got you.
Okay, I'll let you. Okay, I'll let you do that. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Cool. So yeah, the reason why I chose this topic is because when we talk about the holidays and Black Friday, Cyber Monday is around the corner, we typically think about this time of the year in terms of customer acquisition. So how to get your store ready to basically maximize the number of customers that you're going to acquire, and obviously it's a very important time for everybody. But I feel like sometimes we kind of overlook the other aspect of it, which is the fact that you're actually going to acquire a lot of customers, and you better have some sort of post-purchase path laid out for them after they leave your store, because this is for a lot of people, it's going to be the first time that they interact with your brand, with your store. So it's good to have that kind of like acquisition obviously plan laid out, but also retention after they bought from you for the first time. So that's what I'm gonna be talking about. So just for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raul. I'm the partner manager at ReferralCandy. For those of you who don't know ReferralCandy, very, very quickly, we are a referral marketing app for e-commerce brands. And so what we do is that we give every one of your customers a unique referral link that they can share with their friends. When the friend clicks on the link and they make a purchase, we kind of like track that whole referral activity, and we reward your customers that made the referral in the first place. For brands, it's fairly easy to get started. You just need to choose your rewards. We're going to see a lot of examples of referral rewards today, but basically whether you want to give a discount towards the next purchase or a cash reward for every time a friend is being referred. The second step is to set up your theme. So even if you're a small brand that don't have a developer or a designer in-house, just have to upload a logo and a banner, and we take care of the rest. And then that's it. You're ready to go. You're ready to promote. You're ready to let your customers know that there is a referral program that they can benefit from. So given this context, let's kind of dive into the topic of today. So again, let's talk about customer retention and acquisition after the holidays. Almost forgot. Yeah. So at the end of the webinar, I think it's also on the webinars page. There's an extended free trial that we're going to offer to everybody that's watching this presentation. So at the end of the webinar, after the Q&A, I'll give you guys kind of the instructions on how to get started with a 60-day free trial instead of 30. And so yeah, and I'll also give you guys my email address in case you guys have any question either about the talk or about ReferralCandy itself. So yeah, this is what we're going to cover today. So first of all, we're going to talk about turning customers into your brand advocates. So again, there's a lot. There's not just incentives that you can implement to get people to share your brand and to share your products with their friends and family, and they're basically their own audience. But there's a little bit more than that. So we're going to look at the kind of like the context that creates brand advocacy. The second point, it's how to create a community around your brand. So we're going to talk about community marketing. This is kind of a long-term strategy. It's not something that it's probably not going to be ready for the holidays if you start right now, but it's always a good time to get started because it's a strategy that pays off in the long run. So we're gonna talk about that, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the end. So I want to get started with this tweet. So this is the CTO of Shopify back in April 16. So as you can see there, as we help thousands of businesses to move online, our platform is now handling Black Friday level traffic every day. So this was back in mid-April. So you can see in this graph, you can kind of see here, let me see my mouse. Okay. You can see Black Friday over here, obviously the natural spike, and then kind of like how the Shopify global traffic started to grow. It started in mid-March, which is kind of when the pandemic like really hit. And so what this tells us is that this holiday season is probably going to be probably the busiest one that we've ever experienced in the history of e-commerce, with a lot of brands going online, and also with especially in the US, some major retailers deciding to shut down for Black Friday to avoid kind of like large gatherings of people. We're going to see a lot of this traffic moving online, which means that there's a great opportunity out there for a lot of you, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of competition. So that's why it's really important to make sure that your brand stands out, that your customers understand that your brand is more than just your product, and that obviously create that sense of community around it in all the examples that we're going to see today. So let's get started with turning customers into brand advocates. So for those of you, if any of you have been to one of my webinars before, you've probably seen this slide. I loved bringing it up because it gives a really good kind of like structure for what we're going to talk about, and it gives us a little bit of a context as well of what we talk about in terms of brand advocacy. So in this case, we're going to start thinking about a post-purchase kind of cycle. Okay, so whatever channel you use to acquire a customer, that's great. That customer, that person became a new customer and they made a purchase. So what's going to happen from there, or what ideally it's going to happen from there, is that you have a great product and your customer is going to be happy that the product is exactly what they thought it was going to be. They're going to have a great customer experience. They're going to have a great purchasing experience, which means that even if something doesn't go well, your customer support team is going to be able to step in and fix it for them kind of proactively. And overall, if these two things go well, you're going to achieve customer satisfaction. Okay, which means that your customers are going to be happy that they got the product that they wanted. They had a really good purchasing experience, and that's going to lead to probably recurring purchases. And I say probably because you might not be selling a product that it's something that they're going to buy every month, or if you sell a product that it's being sold once a year, or a lifetime subscription or something, then your product's probably not friendly for recurring purchases. But if you're in the in the clothing business, or if in the food business, it's likely that your customers are going to come back for more. And also organically, your customers are going to start talking about your product to their friends and family. Hopefully not only your product, but your brand. And so these two aspects here, the recurring purchases and the referrals, are things that you can incentivize customers. You can incentivize customers to make recurring purchases. You can incentivize customers to make referrals. But if you don't have a great product, there isn't really an incentive you can offer your customers to come back. If you don't have a good purchasing experience, or if your customers are overall not happy with buying from you, and the incentives you can offer aren't really going to work, because you have to think about customer retention and customer acquisition after the purchase. In terms of post-purchase, you have to think about it in a bigger context, which is customer obsession. So you need to have, as a brand and as a company, a customer obsession type of thinking and type of like overall strategy in order to be able to implement this strategy. So this is not just kind of like a growth hack that I'm offering here that, if you offer incentives for referrals and incentives for recurrent purchases, your customers are going to jump in right away. You need to make sure that your whole purchasing process, including your brand, including your products, are great in order for that to work. And I wanted to bring a bunch of examples because I always feel like, our customers explain this a lot better than I do. And so this is Baron Fig. This is a customer that they've been with us for, gosh, I don't know, like multiple years now. And they sell productivity tools. And so they have a very, very, very good referral program that they've been running for years, and it's been really successful. And so as you can see, it's pretty simple. Give $10, get $10. And so customers can get $10 towards the next purchase for every friend that they refer. As simple as that, which is a typical structure for referral programs overall anyway. But in the same website, actually, if you can go check it right now, it's baronfig.com baronfig.com, and then you'll see on the top navigation bar, you'll see a call to action that says get $10. And that's a call to action to kind of like go see the referral program page. So the reason why I wanted to bring them up is because they have this note from the team in the referral program page. And more specifically, they have this paragraph where they say, a referral program helps us spread the word, and it gives you a reward as a thank you for supporting us. If each one of our customers refer just one person, it will make a major impact on our small studio. Instead of spending on advertising, we'll rather give the money to you. Any help is tremendously appreciated, and we hope you continue to enjoy the products we make. That sentence right there, that instead of spending money on advertising, we'd rather give the money to you, to me summarizes pretty much everything I'm going to talk about today. This whole note from the team expresses their customer obsession, the fact that their whole mission as a company is to deliver products that their customers are going to love. And at the same time, they come to this realization of, well, why would I spend money on advertising when I can just spend that money on you, my customer that loves my product? And so that kind of explains like I said, the customer obsession. But at the same time, they really understand that there's no better marketing than a customer referral. There's no better marketing than somebody talking to their friends, talking to their colleagues, and say, "Hey, look, you gotta check this out. You gotta check this product that I just bought." And so obviously a lot of our brands have been able to successfully implement the referral program, but the ones that really, really, really made it kind of like a huge part of their customer acquisition and also customer retention strategy were those that were able to fit these incentives inside of their kind of like different areas of the company. So for example, this company I wanted to bring up, it's called Woven. They've been able to successfully implement this referral program according to their customers' purchasing behavior. And I'll explain why. Woven, it's a company that sells t-shirts. It's a subscription business. I don't know if I just mentioned it, but they're a subscription business, which means that every month you'll get a box you get a box with a t-shirt. And the cool thing about that t-shirt is that it has been designed exclusively to be delivered that 1 month, and that's it. So that t-shirt that you have in your hands will never be sold again. That design will never be available for anybody, in the future at all. So you have kind of like a unique edition of a t-shirt, and that even though if you find somebody, outside and you see him wearing a t-shirt Woven, you might reach out to them and be like, "Hey, actually, I know that brand. Like, I got that same t-shirt. Oh, you're also part of Woven." So it can also kind of strike this kind of like sense of community in a sense, but also it kind of like strike conversations with people that might recognize each other. But besides being in my opinion, a really, really smart business model, they have this incredibly smart referral program. So there's the structure that they chose is refer one friend and get a free renewal. So every time you refer a friend, you're gonna get a free t-shirt in the mail the next month. It's on us. That's their way of saying thank you for referring friends. But there's even more, is the fact that they give their friends 50% off their first month, which means that it's extremely easy for friends to get started. Because like, sure, 50% off, of course, I'll try it out. I mean, everybody loves a t-shirt. They'll get it in the mail, and Woven is so sure that their customers are going to love the product that they're willing to give 1.5 t-shirts for free just in exchange to acquire a new customer, because they know that customer is going to stay there for a while. So you need to think about it in this way, like understand your customers, understand if they're happy with your product, understand kind of how they behave with your brand, and also understand what's their kind of like what's the post-purchase behavior. Are they going to come back to you? Are they going to just make one purchase and leave? Those are things you need to kind of keep in mind when setting incentives for retention in this case, but also for customer acquisition in terms of referrals. Okay, so we're getting into the second part of the webinar, which is creating a community around your brand. So this is kind of like a niche strategy that kind of related to what I mentioned at the beginning. So it's not really separate from the first part, but this is one particular strategy that I've seen that works extremely well. It's a long-term strategy, so it's not something that you can really implement and you see results right away. It's long-term, but it really pays off, which is creating a community around your brand, which basically means that your customers, first of all your customers have something in common. It's not only that they bought from you at some point in their lives, but they must have something in common. If you're selling, let's say, I'm going to bring it back to my territory. If you like basketball if you're selling basketball items, all your customers like basketball. Whether they like your shoes or whether they buy from other brands, they all have something in common, which is that they like basketball. And so bringing people together that can share experiences and they can talk about the things that they like, not necessarily about the brand that you run, but about what unites all of them. That's creating a community, and it's extremely powerful. And I'm going to bring a couple of examples before we go. So the first one that I wanted to bring is called Box of Stories. So they are a company from the UK, also in the subscription business, by the way, where they sell books. So every month you get a box with books that kind of fit with what you will like. They kind of like give you a little bit of a survey at the beginning, so they want to get to know you, what you typically like, and they send you books that you're very likely going to discover those authors and those titles with a box of stories. And I'll explain why first in a second. And the reason why they kind of believe that their customers are going to being able to discover new titles and new authors with them, it's because the reason why a box of stories got started, and we know this because we interviewed the founder a couple months ago. It's because the founder realized that there's a lot of books that never make it to the bookstore every single year, and they kind of share the numbers here. Approximately 200,000 titles are published every year in the UK, and just 17% of those are lucky enough to get a decent marketing budget and make it to the bestsellers. And among the other 83%, there are many amazing books and new authors that get squeezed out of sight in the marketing blitz of selected known bestsellers. And so they stay undiscovered. So that's their mission. They're not selling books. A box of stories, it's not just selling books because Amazon is already selling books. So, they have a giant that they're competing with in the same field. So what they're doing is telling their customers, look, we're not just selling books. We're selling you the experience of, first of all, discovering authors that otherwise might not get noticed. And at the second time, you're also going to save a lot of these books from literally being destroyed. That's something that she told us during the interview, is that every year, thousands of books get destroyed because they just never make it to the bookshelf. And it's just easier for editorials to destroy them. So there's kind of like this two-way, there's two different reasons of why they're running the business. And they want to let their customers know. It's actually, if you go to their website, you're going to see it prominently in their top bar. That says our mission, and you can go there and find out why they even started the company in the same place. So all of you who are starting a company, all of you who are currently running a company, there must be a reason why you got into the business. And I'm sure a lot of people could resonate with that reason and with that story. So I often tell customers, do not be afraid of sharing your story and sharing the reasons why you got started with your customers, because probably a lot of your customers are going to see themselves reflected in what you did. And they were able to build a very active community, in this case by using Facebook. So they create a Facebook group, which is a book group. Basically, they don't use it to sell subscription. They don't use it to address customer support queries or anything like that. They literally do it to unite people that love reading and people that love discussing books. And they have almost 4,000 members. in this Facebook group. And sure, there's some branding. There's, you can see a Box of Stories logo here. And, they mention ABOS, in the description and title. But again, this group is not meant to sell. It's just meant to put people together that will, share their experiences and share what they're reading. And obviously, ultimately, this is going to help with the customer acquisition at the end of the day. Like I said, we interviewed Asha, who's the founder of A Box of Stories, and she said, people are now creating content about us and posting it on YouTube and Instagram with the referral links. It's helping us drive word of mouth, and one of our customers even posted her referral code on her blog. We love it. So again, they were able to use their community marketing strategy to drive customer acquisition and to drive new customers from that. And the second example I wanted to bring before we go, this is actually a company that they decided to shut down earlier this year. So it's actually extremely sad for me to bring this example. They didn't shut down for financial reasons, or actually the business was running well, but they had kind of all the other reasons behind it that they decided to shut down. But they were running for many years, and to me, they're one of the best examples of community marketing that I've ever seen. And so that's why I keep bringing them up, because I want to kind of, as a tribute to what they've done. So this is Matter Prints. They are a company from Singapore that they are in the business of their clothing business. They're in the kind of like fashion business, but again, another extremely competitive industry with giants that are competing there. But from the very beginning, they started because they wanted to basically make a statement, and they wanted to let people know that they were against the fast fashion kind of movement, and against the fast fashion idea that clothes should last only for a little bit, just in time for you to get the new pair. They wanted to kind of go back to the old days of where you could have good clothes that were, kind of like done in the way that used to be, kind of like the old fashioned way. And at the same time, being able to support communities in underdeveloped countries. So that's exactly what they did. They were showing their customers literally the people that were making the clothes. They were working with some artisan communities in India that were manufacturing the clothes for Matter Prints, and they were then shipped to all over the world. And so they were able to achieve this two very important pieces that were important for them, not only as a brand, but as a kind of like personal reasons for the founders, that they wanted to, again, take a stand against the fast fashion and kind of like the environmental issues that come with it. But at the same time, they wanted to help these artisan communities that were manufacturing garments, in the old-fashioned way, and kind of like bring them forward and bring them to people, and let them know that. That it's something that it's by the way, is there some sort of issue with the video or something? I'm seeing some comments in the I can go back if there's anything that wasn't clear
as well right now. Basically all of you can hit the refresh button. It's a lot of us online right now. So I was telling Raul before we started the talk that when we did this, the whole platform crowdcast hit the floor because we were so many. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure that nobody kind of misses anything. So
because some people say it's fine, some is not, and I'll try to redirect people in the comment section on how to proceed. So you can go on. So we can do the QA in 5 minutes or so.
Okay. Well, we have the Q&A session at the end. So I guess, if anything wasn't clear, I'm happy to kind of go back. But yeah, so what they were achieving at the end with this is that they were creating so much content and so much meaning behind just, a garment, that the answer to this question of where do you get that, it goes beyond just like, oh, I got it online, or just, I got it on Amazon. It's more like, oh, no, look, I got it from Matter Prints. There's a company, actually it's pretty cool because they work with these communities, blah, blah, blah. So the explanation gets a lot longer. And also we interviewed Ray, which was the founder of Matter. And, she said, when somebody buys a Matter piece and talks about it to a friend, feels special when they wear it and shares the story with a stranger, that's impact, and those relationships matter. So again, these two examples of community marketing here, they didn't have a Facebook group. They didn't have any sort of like online forum or anything like that. They had a hashtag on Instagram where people were kind of like, sharing the pieces, and people were able to see other Matter customers. But mostly what they had was a really strong content marketing kind of like, focus, in which they were producing a lot of content about the people that were manufacturing the clothes, and kind of like the personal stories, to create a connection between the manufacturer and the client at the end of the day. So I wanted to also bring this example because when we think about community marketing, we typically think of Slack groups, or Telegram groups, or Facebook groups, but it's more than that. You can create a community just by having a really, really strong brand reason, or like a reason why you decided to start the company in the first place, and then letting people share that on social media and kind of like, interact with each other, even though it doesn't have to be in a closed space. If for them, just having an Instagram hashtag really worked really well. So, okay, so I think we're reaching the end. I brought a summary to kind of like, close down with some of the key action items to take from this call. So the first one is, again, really important. Customer retention and advocacy must be part of a much wider customer-centric strategy. So again, customer obsession. It doesn't really matter if we're offering incentives for people to come back to your store to buy again, or incentives for people to refer their friends. If your product, isn't good, if your purchasing experience isn't smooth, and if your customers aren't happy overall, you need to fix those problems before we talk about kind of post-purchase incentives. Then also, once you have these incentives in place, adjust them based on your customers' purchasing behavior. So think about the Boven example, where they were able to give a free subscription and half of a new one to acquire a new customer. And also that your brand is more than just a product. So think about a Box of Stories example and the Matter prints. They were more than just a company selling books or a company selling clothes. They were much more than that. They had a reason to exist. So your customers have something in common. Let them sharing, and also let them know what your company stands for. So we're reaching the end. I guess we're gonna open the Q&A session. I have the offer for ReferralCandy. I don't know if we should share that now or wait until the end of the Q&A. Oh, I can't hear you.
You're on mute. That's the best thing that happened this whole You're on mute. Yeah, of course I would have done it. So we have a button right under Raul here, which is gonna take you to the first page. And thank you, Raul. I actually gathered a few questions from you because we're live on a lot of platforms. So let's get into it. So first of all, thank you for your session. I know we talked before about retention, and I think a lot of the things that you used to say in the past that's gonna happen. This was before COVID, if you remember. And then everything happened, so obviously we have to deal with what it is right now. So Simon is asking you, what are the first steps on how to get started with building a community if you're a new e-commerce store? So they're a new brand, and Simon is wondering what are the first steps they can do to get started.
Yeah, so the first step is to figure it out what all your customers have in common. So I don't know what you're selling, but there must be some sort of hobby or some sort of reason why they're buying your products. So the example that I mentioned earlier about basketball. So if you're selling basketball shoes, it's not that your customers like basketball shoes, your customers like basketball. So same with books. So try to find a way to unite them into a platform that they'll visit, and the platform that they're comfortable using. And again, that could be a Facebook group, that could be a Telegram group, Slack. Again, if you're selling a product that's more like probably a tech product, you probably want to go with Slack. If you're using, I see companies. We have a local surf brand here that they have a WhatsApp group and it's super active. So again, it's really a matter of finding where people are hanging out and creating a community for them to talk. And again, not to talk about your product, but make sure that it's active with conversations that they're all happy to discuss about.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I also have another question from Mary, and she's asking, do you think, I'm on here on my phone reading questions, do you think that new brands should focus on retention too, or should we focus mostly on bringing new customers?
I mean, both obviously, but I mean, retention, if that's something you can start from day one, it's really, really, really going to pay off. And also in terms of margins, like just think about, I mean, how much does it cost you to acquire a new customer? How much does it cost you to get those purchases, out the door? So if you can get a customer to come back, for more, those customer acquisition costs are gone. Now, it's pretty much all profit from there. So it's really, really important. If you have a product that your customers can buy multiple times and you can figure out something that incentivizes them to come back, even if you do it from day one, I would absolutely do it because it's really going to pay off in the long term.
Yeah, and basically this is how you're educating your customers, because if you educate them from the start that you are sales focused and you are focused only on transactional value,
Yeah.
then basically the new customers that you will bring are not going to be interested in working with you again in the future, because you will just ultimately become a new just a transaction to
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like
It also reduces your dependency on, I mean, when you're starting, I mean, it's hard also in terms of budgets to, get the foot on, on Instagram, on Facebook, Google, etc. All these, all these kind of like venues for ads. So, I mean, it's getting harder and it's getting a lot more expensive to become visible in those brands. So if you can figure out a way from the very beginning to, again, get customers to come back for more, but at the same time, try to figure out a way to get those customers to talk to their friends about it, even if it goes little by little, because we're talking about small volumes here. It's really going to pay off in the future. It's a long-term strategy at the end of the day. So
yeah, it's the only way that and the market is right now, it's actually nurturing this type of
yeah.
mentality, being a farmer rather than a hunter. Well, thank you so much, Raul. I actually have one more question, and she's gonna be mad if I don't ask. So I have a question from Tatiana, and this is the last question, guys, because we have a new session coming. Tatiana is asking you, what do you think is the best benefit of referral marketing? I know it's a tough ass question.
This one. I mean, it's just okay. I want to bring it down to numbers. It's extremely cost effective. It's performance based. So whether you're giving a discount on a feature purchase or you're giving a cash reward for a referral, you're only paying for that once that purchase is taking place. So if you need kind of like a monetary incentive to do that's it right there. And then also just it's also, and the second one, it's also that I'm starting to see a lot in a lot of companies that we work with, is that it's a channel that you can own yourself. We are working with more and more customers, and kind of like the point, a lot more customers that have customer retention managers and customer retention directors and heads of customer retention. So it's becoming more and more important, especially in bigger brands.
Oh yeah,
that this particular figure exists, and they love it because it's a channel that they can own themselves. They don't depend on an algorithm changing, and now all of a sudden I don't know why all my sales went. So that's again the financial benefits right there in terms of performance based, but also at the same time it's in-house pretty much. So
exactly. Well, thank you so much, Raul. Actually, after you finish the session, Daniel here is asking how to see a demo. Maybe you can help him via the chat. And guys, I'm gonna hand it over to Horacio. We have a next session coming up with John McDonald from The Good. Thank you so much, Raul. This was amazing, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you in